Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BowDivas. We are back interviewing another super special person today, and I think many of you will be familiar with her. Our guest today currently lives in Alabama, and according to some internet research we found, shot her first bow and rifle in the year 2000 while camping with friends and was hooked. She began hunting and competing with a bow, and in 2006 won the Colorado State Championship in Women's Bow Hunter Division. She has had the experience of bow hunting elk, mule deer, whitetail, turkey, and pigs. In 2011, she was named in Outdoor Life magazine as one of their top 25 leaders in hunting, fishing, and conservation. Her early career was with the U.S. Army as a civilian employee, and then in 2009, she started this little company called Shoots Like a Girl, and currently serves as the owner and president. Please welcome our distinguished guest, Karen Butler. Hi, Karen. Can you hear us?
I can hear you great. Hello. Thanks so much for inviting me on your podcast.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us today. Well, a lot of us ran into you with a little booth that you used to set up at some of the ASA shoots called Shoots Like a Girl, and we thought, what the heck is that? And came over and visited with you, and you had some neat ideas with how you started the company. Tell us a little bit about your start in hunting, bow hunting, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, Shoot Like a Girl was kind of my idea when I first got into archery. There weren't a lot of women doing it, and I fell in love with the sport. The very first time I did it, like all archers and shooters know, you kind of get addicted right away. If you execute a great shot, it's like, okay, I can do this wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I had this idea when I'd try to get more of my friends to come shoot with me. They didn't want to spend the money and invest in it, and I understand that because it could be expensive and they don't know if they're going to like it, and why invest their hard-earned family dollars in that. But I knew if women had the opportunity to try to shoot the way that I was provided an opportunity to try to shoot, that they would love it and they would become consumers and shooters and join us in this wonderful hobby that we have of shooting. And it worked, and it's just been a great joyride. So what Shoot Like a Girl does, what we do, is we have, when we first started, we were archery only. Now we've expanded to firearms.
Right.
But we had the top bow manufacturers with their archery equipment, and women can come in, and in a few minutes I can take a non-shooter and get them to execute a safe, responsible shot. And then they'd have a chance to shoot all of the bows that are there and see what they like best, because not all the time the hottest bow on the market is going to be available in your archery shop in a 25-inch draw length and a 40-pound length.
Right.
Or a shooter.
Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, I think all of us, Julie Griggs, Annalisa, myself, Annalisa's kind of tall, but none of us can walk into most of the pro shops and find that, like, they might have one kid's bow set up that we could possibly shoot. And outside of that, everything's pretty much set up for your standard male.
Right. Exactly. It's a 70-pound limit, 30 inches. And that's just not realistic for women. What's interesting is that not only that, it's not that retailers mean to offend us, but it's a little off-putting to walk in and want to be an athlete in a sport and be said, okay, well, let me take you to the kids section.
Right.
And it's just slightly off-putting to most women. And so by us doing this when we started with archery, we were able to see instant results because women would shoot, they'd love it. They would go to their local archery shop or their local Cabela's, and they would purchase that equipment. And now that we've expanded to firearms, we went from this, what you all remember, I'm sure, is a little 10-by-10 booth with some vinyl signs that my dad, rest his soul, designed for me and had printed out at our little local printer. And it was very much mom and pop, very much a small business. I mean, I was the chief cook and bottle washer. I unloaded the trailer, loaded the trailer. However, I would say in the archery world, I never did any of that by myself. Even though I may have gone to an event by myself, we always had either our pro staff there to help, but if they weren't available, the great thing about shooting sports, and especially the archer community, is that it's one giant family. And
Right.
so if someone sees you doing a task by yourself, they don't leave you alone. They say, what can I do to help?
Right.
Right.
And so it's, so I say I was there by myself, but really in the archery family, you're never alone.
Right.
But we,
Can you tell me what kind of growth have you had? Like, you started in 2009. Do you have a big facility and lots of employees now, or do you have like Go ahead.
We've had epic growth. I mean, I just can't. I am so very grateful for the growth we've had. So we expanded to a mobile trailer. So we went from this little 10 by 10 booth to now we really have a state-of-the-art 52-foot trailer that we pull across the country, where women go inside and they can still shoot archery, but they can also shoot a pistol and a rifle.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And that's with the military. Yeah, it's with a military-grade firearm simulator. Like, it was really a challenge to buy this piece of equipment, but it mimics recoil, sound, and impact, but it doesn't have a projectile. So it's the most realistic firing scenario you can have with a simulated system that really is the real thing. It has 85% of felt recoil. So we give women a very realistic experience. And what happened with that is we went out, so the archery companies, you know, they started out thinking that this was an okay idea, but had no idea the return on the investment. And now 70% of the women that go through our trailer commit to buying a firearm, and 45% of the women that go through our trailer commit to purchasing a bow. And so when you look at the growth that we had, our mission statement is to grow the number of women in shooting sports by empowering them with confidence. And that's really the confidence that they can do this sport if they choose to. And so when you look at the growth we've had for shooters, I mean, it's just such a rewarding feeling. And if I'm talking too much, just tell me. But one of the things that I love so much about this, and I'm not an emotional person, but it gets me a little emotional. I have women, because occasionally we go to the same place, you know, in the next year. So we've been at Virginia last year, and we'll be at the same show this year in Virginia. And what happens is women will come up to us and say, you know, my whole family used to shoot. They used to go to archery tournaments. They used to go to the firing range. And I stayed home and I did my chores. I did the laundry. I did the grocery shopping. I did all these things that, you know, a mom and a wife need to do. And they went and had their time together. And now, since I shot with you, I go with them and we all do the chores together. And when I think about the impact that we've been able to have on the quality of lives of women and families to join shooting sports, it's the biggest reward of all.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it can definitely be a family-oriented thing. Now, when you say that you bring the trailer around, I notice on Facebook, you know, you put a lot of notices out there. How do you know where the trailer is going to be, or do you have a designated schedule? How does that work?
We do have a designated schedule. And as a matter of fact, we're getting ready to release our second half of the year schedule. We were waiting on a couple dates to lock in, but it's an area that we need to improve. In all honesty, our website has it kind of buried in there. If you go to our website, shootlikeagirl.com, and you click on test flights, and then you'll see the schedule in there.
Okay.
But we're going to pull that to the front. We'll do a press release. We'll send it out, and then we'll also post it on social media for our event.
Okay.
And we're going to hit Texas, which we've had so many requests to get to Texas, and we're going to hit we're going to hit 3 Cabela's in Texas this remainder of this year.
Great, great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely share your page. Now, you strictly use the trailer as your store, so it's basically a mobile retail store. You don't have a brick and mortar store there in Alabama. Alabama is where you live, right?
Correct. We do not currently have a brick and mortar store. What we are doing though is we're building trailer 2, and so we'll have 2 trailers on the road.
All right.
Wow.
Because the challenge is really for women. Women, when we do all this research, and we've done a ton of research, women don't necessarily go invest their time to get in their car, to drive somewhere, to try something that they've never tried before, that they're not sure if they're going to like or not.
Sure.
But if we can put the trailer where there's like-minded people, like the National Finals Rodeo, like a Cabela's grand opening, like a hunting and fishing show, or we were just at the National Rifle Association show. When we can put the trailer there where there's a lot of people that are somehow connected to the industry, but maybe not a shooter in the industry, and it's real easy for them to walk inside and get this excitement that we have. You know, we have 12 contracted instructors, you were asking me that, and we have 3 full-time employees with the company right now.
Okay. Now, so I think you need to let me and Julie drive the trailer to all the ASAs, your second trailer. That's my suggestion.
Now, I do have a CDL, but it doesn't go up that high.
Yeah, we definitely need a CDL. We love our driver. And our driver, I don't know if you ever saw that show on Top Gear, but we treat our driver like the Stig on Top Gear. You know, he's a very good driver, and we're fortunate to have him. But, you know, it's funny you say that, because one of the things that I really want to do is get back to an ASA shoot. So we just wouldn't be in business or be where we are today without the early support and recognition from all of the shooters that participate in ASA shoots. You know, that's really our roots. It's where I call home. I'd love to have time to shoot and actually go out and shoot at a tournament. That's the challenge when you buy or own a firing shooting company. You don't get to shoot anymore.
Right.
You're always working on it. Although I am getting ready to go to Africa for a hunt, and I have been shooting a lot with my rifle over the last 3 weeks, which has been just wonderful. So have you have to figure out how to keep it.
Have you been to Africa before, or is this your first?
I have not. This is my first time, and what we're using this trip for is 33% of the women that go through our trailers say that they don't hunt but want to. Mm-hmm. And my question back to them is, why not? And so I'm doing something that I've never done before that anyone could do if they so choose. And we're going to try to capture really not look at what I'm doing by going to Africa, but look what you could do if you wanted to, because it's so simple. I went to a RMEF banquet, and they had a hunt for sale, and I had a budget, and I bid on the hunt, and I won the hunt, and so now I'm going on an organized hunt with a group of, actually it's all women, so that's even nicer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's 7 women, and it's great. The package came with a Weatherby rifle. You know, Weatherby just released a brand new rifle for women that's called the Camilla Vanguard, that has a contoured stock, and so the cheek weld fits, the cheek plate fits really nice, and the buttstock fits really nice into your shoulder. And so I'm taking that gun, and I'm taking Tika just released a new Tika T3X, and I'm taking that firearm with me as well. So that's going to be fun. But anyhow, it's all about, as we capture these things, you know, so you guys could do the same thing. You could, you know, pool your money, say you guys want to go on a hunt, whether it be a dove hunt, a deer hunt, a pig hunt, whatever. Go to your local conservation banquet and, you know, bid on it and win, and then just go, because after that, you know, kind of everything starts falling into place, because you have this package, and they'll send you a list of what you need to bring as far as gear and clothes and what you can expect. And, it takes a lot of the anxiety out of it. And then when we go, we're both, Christy Crawford, my operations officer, is going with me. Neither of us have ever hunted overseas. So, we're going to try to capture that excitement, that energy, but then translate it to where, everyone can do it and everyone should do it. Why should we limit ourselves on what we think is achievable?
Right.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a good message.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally
for
agree.
life, everything, not just bow hunting.
Right. This might be off on a little tangent, but while you were talking, I was wondering, like, I'm sitting here looking at Barb and Annalicia, and we either grew up around bows or firearms, hunting, fishing, that sort of thing, or we married into it and started to participate. Do you have any numbers of the women that go through your test flight as far as which ones have already been exposed to it through a family member or a spouse or something, and ones that have just decided this is something they might like to do, but maybe they're the only one in their family that does this or wants to do this?
It's about 64% that are new or re-entering shooters. And I say new or re-entering because we ask the question, did you shoot years ago, like in high school, or do you shoot, or have you never shot? And so we kind of lump them together, and that number is about 64%.
Wow.
It's very interesting. So I'm a math geek and a numbers geek, and what's really interesting is, there's about 36% of us compared to our male population that actually participate in shooting sports. And that number pretty much stays the same with the number of women that go through the trailer. So it's kind of interesting to me that those two statistics are equal to the population.
Right. Mm-hmm. I would be curious to know, and maybe down the road we can look into this, and we've kind of talked about it at the ASA shoots. They've increased some of the classes for women in archery and that sort of thing. We've seen a pretty dramatic increase, in some of the classes as far as the turnout numbers. I mean, it used to be, I think, a women's open course, you'd see 40 to 50 shooters, and now there's in just the women's known 40, there's usually 70 or 80, and there's additional classes. There's a lot more women, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But, and so I would love to get some information from ASA directly to see, or even some of the other NFAA, some of those, see what kind of additional numbers we're seeing even at indoor shoots or field archery or, whatever competitions.
Right. Yeah, I remember when I went to the NFAA Vegas and I counted the names, and there was only 10% of the people that were shooting that had female names. I mean, I could have missed one or two. But there was 1,000 shooters that year and only 100 women.
Wow.
And so it'll be interesting to see how that goes up. But it is going up because I think there's a couple things that have changed in life. One of the things my husband loves to do is go with us and talk to the men that are kind of hanging around the trailer while their loved ones shoot. And what we're finding is, back maybe 12 years ago, guys would say, I don't want my wife or loved one to hunt or shoot with me because that's, quote, unquote, my time. But now, over the years, we've seen this dramatic shift where it's the absolute other way around, where they are dying to get their spouse or their loved one involved because the time is so limited.
Right.
We all don't have enough time to do really the quality of life things. And this, shooting sports, as you know, provides just a quality time with your family and your friends and really good fun and honest, old-fashioned fun, as I call it.
Right.
Yep, that's very true.
I can personally vouch for that because I don't know how many people have told my husband how lucky he is that I like to hunt and fish and that I do those things with him. But there are guys out there that want to do that and they want their wife to do it too. but their wife isn't interested in,
I hear this.
And
Yeah,
then,
so
and then there's
personal
sort of get the
testimony to that.
conflict there. And so, if you can get both of them. I have a theory, though. I think the guys try to get us involved so we become addicted and don't complain about all the money spent.
That is very true. I do complain a lot less now.
I like when he buys archery equipment, I don't complain as much anymore. I was like, oh, no, it gets even worse because I want one now.
Right.
You got new stabilizers? I want some.
Right.
Well, you both are right because there's statistics that tell us that. So I'm sorry I keep going back to numbers, but
That's okay.
Women control 85% of every household.
Yeah.
And so it does definitely influence that. But I would say for those friends that you have that they say they wish their wife, you just need to bring them out to shoot like a girl because we have just such I don't know that it's unique, but we have such a welcoming presence that we can get pretty much these ladies that are terrified or don't have any interest in it and to get that one shot off. And it only ever takes one shot, and you see someone go from I don't want to do this to their face lights up, they're happy, their shoulders are back, and they're extremely happy. So bring all those people to shoot like a girl the next time we're in your area.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention that earlier just because of you as a person and your personality and just everybody that works with you. You do have that very welcoming and caring and open arms type atmosphere, and it's not as intimidating for a woman to come in there and try that as opposed to one walking into a gun shop or into a bow shop or whatever. And, and I know I've experienced that too. It's whether it was meant to be that way or not. Hey, little lady, what can I help you with? Kind of thing. Whereas I think, and I don't want it to sound negative, but I think with what you're doing, it validates women, I guess, and it does not intimidate them. And, and like I said before, I think they just feel more welcome and at ease.
Yeah, it's kind of like you don't have that fish out of water feeling.
Right.
It's
empowering.
It's not a guy in a pro shop trying to sell you a kid bow. It's a it's a beautiful female that can hold her own, that knows what she's talking about, and will embrace you with her knowledge. So I think that's what you hold.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. That's what I was trying to say.
Thanks very much. We're so blessed with the team of girls that we put together for our instructors. I mean, we have a very meticulous process to get these ladies out there, and they really do make a huge difference. And every show I have to get in and do a few archery just so I remember why I started doing this company, because that feeling, you all know, because I know you've shared your love of this sport with someone new, and you get to duplicate that 1,000 times over. And it becomes just really your calling.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Well, and I mean, frankly, that's a little bit about why we kind of started the BowDiva podcast, because there's quite a number of podcasts by men and with men.
Geared towards men.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's some great guys out there that have awesome technical information, but there's not a lot of, sort of women-specific stuff that we hear. So that's what we've been kind of trying to do with this, whether you're pro or amateur.
But see,
Go ahead.
That's so great. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but that's so great to have you ladies out there that are accomplished representing women. We can't have enough women out there talking about the benefits of shooting sports. And it's a lot different, and what you offer people is a way to hear information that doesn't make them feel struggle. So a lot of times, like I told you, some of these families, the families have been doing it forever, and mom joins late in the game. So mom is coming into a sport where the children are more proficient than mom is. And that's an awkward place to be. That's an awkward, situation. And most people have a desire to do really good. And we all know that you can do really good. You just got to practice. but they're behind time. So the fact that you guys are out here doing this podcast and talking to women about shooting sports and answering technical questions or giving information in a way that's easier to receive, it's wonderful. It's really admirable, and I'm so glad y'all are doing it. And talking to y'all, I'm missing you so much. I want to go to an ASA.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
And I would love to see that trailer at one of the ASA shoots.
I have never gotten to see it. Yeah,
I've only
want
seen
to see it so bad.
I've only seen it on your Facebook page, and it looks pretty cool. And then I love the videos. Like, I think at the NRA convention, you put out some videos that were really neat of a lot of ladies that went in, and there were several of them that had went in and had never shot a bow in their lives, and
to talk about their first experience.
We'd be all over that like ants on a picnic. I mean,
might be careful. You might get recruited as instructors.
That's okay.
That would be okay. That would be okay. So yeah, I definitely want to see that. Are you going to be in Missouri anytime this year, or do you know?
Or close to Missouri?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. So we had so the current trailer that we have is in mandatory DOT maintenance for the next couple weeks, and then while we head off to Africa, and then when we get back, we're going to we go to Richmond, Virginia for the Virginia Outdoor Days. Then we're going to go up. We're doing something really cool. We're going to Ruger's headquarters, and we're doing a corporate event for Ruger. Then we head back to Texas, where we're going to hit those 3 or 4 Cabela stores in Texas before we head on down to Arizona. And we do 2 shows in Arizona, one at the Cabela's and one at another Ruger facility. And so we're pretty much scattered. And as we're looking at next year, we're trying to see how we can do even more shows. And when we get the trailer 2 finally built, it will certainly free us up to do quite a bit more.
I think you need more than
we
2
can't
trailers.
Be everywhere.
Yeah, you need a fleet.
I do. I'd need a lot bigger bank to make that happen.
Darn.
Well, I've heard a rumor. Maybe we can get you to come to Missouri once they get it built. But I've heard a rumor that they're building a Cabela's in Lee Summit, which is south of Kansas City.
Okay.
So maybe you could come for like a grand opening or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
We could probably make that happen. We did go to Missouri this year, though. I will say we went to the Cabela's right outside of St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I grew up in Southern Illinois, and I should have known better than to go to Missouri in February. Because it just happened to be the coldest day of the year, and we couldn't operate in those conditions. And so we all went inside, and we helped people inside the Cabela's, but we would prefer to been at the trailer.
Right.
Sure.
But blizzards, when they're saying everybody stay off the roads, and
You're right.
Right. I do have a question. On the website, do you guys have apparel still, hats, shirts, that kind of thing?
We do, yes. We actually just got that back up, and it's shop.shootlikeagirl.com. And all of those purchases help us fund the travel and all the expenses of operating Shoot Like a Girl. And quite honestly, when I first started, the entire company was funded off of our T-shirt sales. So
I have bought lots of them, and Barb's wearing one right now.
I need some new stuff, That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Well, I need a new one, though, because this one's kind of old. And this was actually from the breast cancer thing you did several years ago with those crazy targets that were super hard to shoot at.
I know. Well, we still have those targets, and we still do that shoot. We're getting ready to revitalize it this year, and we're changing it. So we did National Breast Cancer Foundation for the last 5 years. We've raised over $43,000 for them.
Oh, cool.
But this year we're switching to an organization that's in the firearms industry. It's called Tata Bang Bang.
Oh,
and
that's cute.
I know, it's a very cute name. They currently do shotgun shoots. But we're still going to do our tournament. We're just going to donate the money to them, because what this organization does, they do women and men, first off, for cancer, which is really great.
Yeah.
But there's a challenge with the healthcare system right now in that someone might get diagnosed with a lump during a normal mammogram or during a physical exam. A doctor might find a lump on a male. And what happens is they need a bone scan to see how far that cancer is. But because of some of the insurance and some of the laws, it might be 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks before that paperwork and that bureaucracy gets in place so that they can go get the bone scan that they need.
Oh, wow.
And so what this group does is they go into hospitals and they set up a fund, and if we knew someone that needed one, we could probably work with them. They'd go to that hospital, but they go into the hospital, and it's almost like a borrowing program. So say you get diagnosed today with a lump in your breast, you could go tomorrow and get your bone scan. The Tata Bang Bang organization pays for it. And then you go ahead and file all your insurance, and if that money doesn't come back for 6 months, if that money doesn't come back for a year, it doesn't matter. When that money finally comes back, it gets rerouted back into the organization, Tata Bang Bang, and then they can keep doing more and more. And
cool.
so it's really saving lives. I mean, it's early detection, which is what the NBCF is about, really does save lives. But when you go from having a person with it to being able to make sure that they get the treatment and the test procedures that they need immediately to save lives, I think that for us it just seems like a better way to make a bigger difference.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So with you're saying with the fundraiser, though, are you still going to have the indoor archery tournament too, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be the same exact tournament. We're just basically swapping the logos out on the bottom of the target.
Okay.
Instead of it being for NDCF, all the proceeds will go to the Tata Bang Bang,
So
and 100% of the proceeds. We don't make a penny off this. I don't want to make any money off of it. It's just as a matter of fact, we Shoot Like a Girl finances all of the shipping for it,
right?
So that we can just help make a difference. You know, I'm a big believer that nothing happens to you in life without the help of others in faith. And if you're getting it good, by God, you better give back and try to make a difference. And so that's why we've done this all along. Originally, it started because my very best friend in the whole world had to have a double mastectomy, and what can I do? I can't do anything. Well, I can go out and find a cause that I can raise money. So hopefully people don't have to go through what she went through. And she's a survivor, by the way, which is great.
Excellent.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, but I have a sister-in-law who's a breast cancer survivor too. I think 5 or 6 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. So
that's awesome.
Karen, for people who may not be familiar with this, is it on the website? Any contact information that you can provide for us here, so that people can get the ball rolling on having this tournament or participating in this fundraiser?
No, we'll announce it. I need to wait. So I'm on we just sent our last check to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And so I don't want to commingle any of those funds. So we're getting ready to announce all that. So, hey, you guys got a scoop, actually.
Oh. We normally get little tidbits of new information out of people that they don't want to let out yet. So you got to
Yay, we have a scoop.
Well,
but we'll get it out there soon.
Yeah,
right,
we'll definitely. Maybe we'll do a diva shoot of some sort and use and get some targets from you. We'll get something arranged around here.
Right.
We'll get a.
Yeah, we've been talking about donating.
Yeah, we've actually been talking about doing something like this, so that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a javelina that's about to become pink, I think. So javelina target. So I did have one other.
It's kind of like Wilbur.
Yeah, there you go. I have another question. I thought this was pretty cool. I remember seeing this on your Facebook page. And it kind of gets off the archery a little bit, but you're the only person I know who's actually been invited personally to go sit in the same room with the President of the United States.
Oh.
Tell us a little bit about
what was that like?
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that opportunity, because this was an eye opener for me. You know, I'm not much into politics. However, I am now, and the reason why is CNN called me and said they needed some pro-gun people to sit in the audience for the president's town hall with Cooper Anderson on Guns in America.